Welcome to week 3 of Move and Restore. So this week we are going to go a little bit into the shoulders. The shoulder joints are incredibly mobile, but because of their mobility, they can be a little bit they have a little bit of instability. So we have to make sure that we keep all these fabulous connective tissues around the shoulder joint nice and lubricated, but also strong. So you often hear of that rotator cuff being the group of muscles that keep the shoulder joint stabilized. So, and we need the mobility because, like, of all the joints of our body, the shoulders really is the one that we use the most. So it's really important to keep them working nice and lubricated and strong for you throughout your day and throughout your life as well. So just one or two things just to mention this week. There is building going on next door. It's nice and quiet at the moment. I hope it will continue like that for the hour, but just in case there is little bits of noise, that's what it is. Hopefully it won't be during our restorative because I'll probably be able to drown it out with my voice if it's for a moving practice. So just be conscious of that. If there's a little bit of disturbances, hopefully try and just put it aside. Another thing to mention is that Monday, the 21st, is International Yoga Day. So to celebrate International Yoga Day, up on my website, I've put a discount for all the items in my shop. So the yoga cards, the posters, my t-shirts, and also the next session I've launched just because of Yoga Day. I've launched the next session of Move and Restore. It doesn't start till the 16th of July, but just in case you wanted to avail of 15% discount. So how you do that, I'll put the notes into the recording of this as well in case you forget. You use the code Yoga Day, all caps, in the checkout section of the shop on my website, and it'll take 15% off your entire order. So you can order as much as you want for 15% off. Okay, so we'll get started. So today I'd like you to, we're going to start seated because we're going to just do a little bit of investigating the 6 movements of the shoulder. I will talk you through, what we're doing with the shoulder, abduction, adduction, and things like that. Quite an anatomical. Don't worry if it's not your thing. Just ignore my anatomy lingo. But I just wanted to, for people who are interested, to give the word of the actual movement of the shoulder. What else to say about it? So get yourself up, kind of nice and comfortable. So I'm sitting on my bolster, straddling the bolster, which can be comfortable. Another way to get nice and upright is just to sit on 2 bricks. So pop the 2 bricks underneath your hips there. What I'm looking for is, hopefully, if your knees will allow it, an upright position rather than a cross-legged position, so that I find that when I'm upright like this, it's less of an effort for my spine to keep its nice natural curve. So while we do this, we're not going to be sitting for very long, but while we do this, we want to make sure that we're upright through the spine, and gravity is just keeping us there rather than having to really work hard with the hip flexors to keep us in space so that we can concentrate on the shoulders. Okay, so let's get started today. We're going to come into, as I said, the 6 movements of the shoulder. So starting with the arms raised, one that we use an awful lot in yoga. And even this can be quite difficult for some people to get. I mean, I can feel this in my shoulders. So what we're looking for here is, yes, we want the shoulders to lift up. There used to be a alignment cue a lot in yoga, like reach your shoulders away from your ears. And whilst it's not necessarily like a bad instruction, it made people artificially pull the shoulder blades down. We want our shoulder blades spinning open as we lift the arms up. Now, while we don't want our shoulders making earmuffs around our ears, we do want a little bit of softness in our shoulders. So while you keep the arms up there, see, can you just send a little bit of softness to the shoulders there? Because if I hold you here for a little bit longer, you really notice the work that's going on in the shoulder to keep them up here. So this is flexion. Now we're going to circle the arms all the way around, back, behind you, for extension. So let's clasp the hands together and just notice the difference between the two. So when you clasp the hands together behind your back, you get a lovely opening through the front of the chest there. You get a lovely opening through the front of the shoulders there. But there is a little less muscular activity going on. So unclasp your hands and just reach the arms away there. Up any amount. So, they don't have to be up very far. In fact, they probably won't go up that far. But just to the point where you start to feel the back of the shoulder working there, and also you know, the muscles underneath your arm there working strong to keep the arms suspended back. Okay, and then just release the arms down. The next one that we're going to do is the rotations of the arms. So keep your bring your arms up into cactus position. So in cactus position, the arms are externally rotating, okay? And then we're going to just keep, now it's really important to keep the upper arm coming directly out of the shoulder joint. We're just going to pivot the whole forearm down, or as much down as it'll go. This is internal rotation. So let's just do that for a few rounds with the breath. So inhaling to cactus, and then exhaling, just bringing the forearms down to internal rotation. Inhale, external, exhale, internal. One more time. Inhale and exhale. Very good. Okay, the last two movements of the shoulders. Now, still already now you'll start to feel lots of activity in the shoulders. In the next section, what we're going to do is we're going to do all of them from tabletop position, so that we're kind of adding the weight of the arm, like our limbs are heavy. We're going to add the weight of the arm to these movements so that you really start to feel the muscles that are working in each of those different directions that our shoulder joint moves. So the last one, another one again that we use a lot in our yoga practice, is abduction. So bringing the arms out to the side and just holding them there for a few moments. We start to feel those upper deltoid muscles there working strongly to hold the arms up. And then adduction is a slightly harder one to find in our practice, but we certainly do in this kind of thing. So let's bring the right arm on top of the left arm. So cross the elbows there and just bring the back of the palms together. So this is adduction. Okay, we'll come through those again for 3 rounds. So abduction, right arm onto top, adduction, abduction, and then let's do left arm on top. Just make sure we stretch both sides, and adduction. Okay, and then just circle the shoulders out, going backwards and forwards. But when we're coming forward, it's remember to stay up tall through the spine. So don't bring it into this type of thing. So stay up tall from the spine and circle the shoulders forward and circle them back. Let's maybe just do a few little circles with the tip of our crown as well. When we work a lot with the shoulders, you certainly start to feel it a lot in the neck, around the sides of the neck there as well. So it's always nice to just give a little bit of attention to the neck as well. So just making incredibly small circles on the ceiling with the tip of your crown there. So nothing dramatic. And then just going both directions. So going the other direction as well, to whichever one you started with. Okay, and let's get ready to move now. So pop your bolster or your brick off your mat there and coming on to all fours. So before we come into those 6 movements in our tabletop position, let's take a few rounds of cat-cow. Always a great way to start a class, just to wake up the spine and again the shoulders. And maybe we'll just have a little look at what those shoulder blades are doing in our cat-cow as well. So I'm going to give you some alignment cues for each of them, and then we'll flow with the breath. So inhaling and continuing to breathe, let the belly soften down towards the ground. Feel your shoulder blades, those lovely triangular bones at the back of your shoulder joint there, come together. So they're retracting together. And then as we exhale, we draw our spine up towards the ceiling. Those shoulder blades, they start to spin out to the sides and like wings across our back. So they're protracting. Okay, we'll do that with the breath now. So inhale, the belly softens down towards the ground, the gaze comes forward, just enough to feel a little lift through the chin there. We're not looking for a huge extension through the neck. And then exhale, lifting the spine up towards the ceiling. So just bringing your full attention, seeing as this class is about now, continue to breathe and continue to do your rounds while I continue chatting. Continue to look at the shoulder and the feelings of the shoulder as you come through your rounds of cat-cow. So noticing the movement of the bones of the shoulder, even through positions like this, and just feeling the relationship between the stretch across the chest there and the front of the shoulders, and then the stretch across the back and the back of the shoulders in your cat-cow. And then coming back to tabletop position, we're just going to do a few scap presses. So that's that scapular, the shoulder blade, press up. So coming into tabletop position, all we're doing here is keeping the natural curves of our spine, and we're just letting our kind of chest drop down towards the ground and then lift up. So it's not that we're coming into cat-cows. We're not moving our spine particularly. We're just dropping the chest down in between the shoulders and then lifting it back up again. It's not a massive movement. It's just really, again, warming up those shoulder joints there again. And then let's just walk the hands forward and take a puppy dog. So grab your bricks if you like to have something underneath to support your head for your puppy dog. Otherwise, bring your head down towards the ground, fingertips reaching forward, hips reaching back. Lovely stretch for the front of the armpit of the shoulder there. In fact, you feel kind of a bit of a stretch in all of the shoulder for this one. Press into your hands to come back up. Okay, let's have a look at those 6 movements now from tabletop position. Take a moment just to make sure that you're really stable and really comfortable in your tabletop position there. Spread your fingertips nice and wide, even though we're going to be lifting one arm. Make sure we'll start with the right arm. So spread the left fingertips nice and wide. Press into the tops of your feet and then lightly into the knees there. Make sure your knees are directly underneath your hip joints. So you're really building quite a wide foundation on your mat there. Okay, you're going to start with the right arm. I'm going to demo with the left so that you can see from the video there. We are going to do our flexion and extension. So I'll move back so I don't hit my cement. Inhaling, flex the arm forward. So reach the arm forward. See, can you keep your spine nice and neutral for this? And then extending the arm back. Okay, we'll do that one more time. Inhale, reach the arm forward. And exhale, reach the arm back. We're going to do it again, and we're going to hold it for a few breaths. Okay, so reach the arm forward. Hold it here for a few breaths. So let the gaze come down towards the ground. Length through the back of the neck there. See, can you have a sense of both shoulders being in line with each other? So this right shoulder wants to lift up. See, can you keep it exactly in line with the left? Yeah, with the left shoulder. Okay, and then let's bring it into an extension. To come through, maybe just flex the fingers so that they're not hitting the ground as you come through. That's the way I do it. Reach the arm back. And again, remembering that when we clasped the hands, there was more of a stretch. Where we unclasped the hands, the work was in the shoulder, in holding the weight of the arm here. And this is we're coming from it at a different angle now, so it's even more of a weight of the arm lifting it through the shoulder joint. And breathing here. Drawing your navel in towards your spine, lifting your pelvic floor. Even though we're working with the shoulder, everything is working here. And then bring the right arm down now. We will do the same on the other side. So I'll flip around so you can see me. Inhale, reach the left arm forward now. And then exhale, flex the hand as you come through so the fingertips don't hit the ground. Reach the arm back. Inhale, reach the arm forward. And exhaling, just reaching the arm back. Getting a little bit of fluid movement before we hold it. Inhale, reach the arm forward. Now let's hold it here, remembering what we did the last time. Keep the left shoulder, I'm mirroring you, in line with the right shoulder. Really feeling the strength of the shoulder here now as it holds the weight of the arm up. Remembering the pelvic floor, navel towards the spine, whole waist cinching in. And then let's bring it into our flexion. So reach the arm back now. Fingertips reaching towards the back of your mat. Lifting the arm up. So you're not just reaching away, you're reaching up as well. Keep the arms in line with each other, or not the arms, the shoulders in line with each other. And breathing. And then exhale to bring it back down again. And we're going to come to our next version now. I'm going to stay on this side and demo with the right arm this time. So we're going to do our internal and external rotation. So take a break at any time you need to. This is quite tough work because we're working against gravity now. So take a break, and to take a break, maybe just come to a kneeling position and circle the shoulders, circle the wrists as well, because we're leaning on our wrists quite a lot in the tabletop position. And then follow on with me. You really it can come in and out of this. We're going to be doing lots of shoulder work, so it's okay if you need to take a break. So for this one, we're going to bring our arm into cactus position. So I'm in this position from my all fours. So this is external rotation. And then we're going to do this internal rotation by keeping that upper arm in line with the shoulder joint and literally just rotating the whole arm in the socket, okay? Inhaling and then exhaling. Inhaling to cactus and exhaling to falling cactus or something. Reverse cactus. Inhaling one more time and exhaling. Let's hold it for a few breaths. Again, this is tough work on the shoulder, so be kind with yourself. Remembering to use all those other supporting muscles, the core, the muscles of the spine to support this action that we're doing in the shoulder. Let's quickly take it into the reverse cactus here, pressing the fingertips up towards the ceiling, and then exhale, bringing that hand down. We're just going to do the left side and then I'll take a break and we'll circle the wrists. Okay, so left side now, we're going to do the arm into cactus position. So here we are in external rotation, and then we're going to rotate the whole arm. Upper arm stays exactly where it is. Press the fingertips up towards the ceiling on the left side now. We'll do one more flow, inhaling, external, inhaling, exhaling, internal, and then we'll hold it. External rotation. Forearms parallel with the ground if possible. Remember, the most important thing here is to keep that upper arm in line with the joint here. So it's coming straight out of the joint. And we'll come quickly to the second side. So the reverse cactus, press the fingertips up towards the ceiling. Make sure that this shoulder doesn't collapse down towards the ground. Keep it buoyant and in line with the right shoulder there. Exhale, bring that left hand down. I come to a kneeling position. So we just have two more to do, which is our abduction and adduction. We'll just take a little break now. So circle the shoulders back, keep the spine tall, circle the shoulders forward. Maybe a little bit of movement to the wrists, just gently flexing and extending them. Doing anything that feels good, just to get a little bit of blood flow back into the wrists there. Okay, and when you're ready, coming back into tabletop position again. Last round, so we will start with, I'll go this way so you can see me, the abduction and adduction. Okay, so abduction, reach the arm away. So I've got my arm just coming straight out from the shoulder joint. No higher really. So you're not trying to lift the arm beyond the shoulder joint, you're just reaching it up. And then for adduction, we're just going to reach our arm, keep the shoulders exactly where they are, and just hold on to the outside or anywhere around here. I'm just going to hold on to here. We're just looking for this action of the shoulder moving across the midline here. We'll do one more round of the breaths. Inhale, reach the arm just to shoulder height. And then exhale, holding on to the left side of your ribs there. And then holding now for a few breaths. So reach the fingertips away from you here and have no intention to go higher than the shoulder joint. If needs be, it can be a little bit lower than the shoulder joint, whatever suits your shoulder. Feel the strength of those upper muscles there holding the shoulder in space. And then exhale, let's thread it through and hold on to the left ribs there. So squeeze your upper arm to your right ribs there, your right rib cage. So have this as a bit of action going on there. So feeling the muscles of the outer back of your arms and your shoulder working here. And then bring the arms down. We'll do the same thing on the left side. Inhale, reaching the arm away, just shoulder height or lower. Exhale, threading through and just holding on to your right ribs here. Inhale, reach the arms away. And exhale, holding on to right ribs. Let's hold it for a few breaths now that we have fluid movement going. Inhale, reach, remembering no higher than shoulder height, making sure that that left shoulder now is nicely lined up with the right shoulder, that it hasn't caved down, making sure to use your core, your 360 core wrapping around you to hold you in space there, lift the pelvic floor too. Let's bring it into our adduction. So threading through, holding onto the right ribs with your fingertips. I'm in this kind of a thing. And squeezing the outer left ribs there with your upper arm. So I'm actively squeezing this muscle in against my ribs. And then bringing the left hand down. Let's take it all the way down to the ground. So just bringing yourself down any way suits you. We're going to do a few rounds of Cobra. So hands either side of underneath the shoulders there. Press into your hands, fingertips spread nice and wide, and lift your chest up any amount. So having this nice chest opening here, feeling the muscles all down the back of your spine there, contracting and working for you. Gaze is slightly forward, so we don't want the head too raised, and we don't want it dropping down either. So come down again, and then bring your fingertips up, or bring your arms wider than your mat there, up onto your fingertips. Lifting up again. So we're going to bring it into a little bit of movement, and we're going to use this same movement in our flow. Inhale to lengthen, then exhale, bend to the left hand side, and let your right shoulder come down. So your chest will probably come down towards the ground as well. Inhale to lift, and then exhale, left shoulder comes down. Inhale to lift, exhale, right shoulder comes down. So there's a little bit of a side bend to it as we bring our each shoulder down. So we're kind of just flowing shoulder drops in either side. Inhale to lift, exhale, right shoulder. Inhale, lifts, exhale, left shoulder. So feeling that nice little bit of movement back in the shoulders again after all that strong activating and holding it in space. Okay, and then just coming back, hands underneath either side of your chest there, lifting yourself up and back. Let's take 1 or 2 rounds of cat-cow now before we start into our main flow. A little bit of movement to the spine there is always nice after any amount of holding a little back bend there in the Cobra position. Tuck the toes under now, lift the hips up and back, and find your way into downward dog. Okay, so we're using this as just a transitional downward dog. Don't worry too much about how far down towards the ground those heels are. We're talking about the shoulders today. So this is just to start our flow off. Inhaling here, and then exhale. I find it handy to come up onto my fingertips and just walk the feet forward as many steps as it takes you. Get up to a forward fold. Exhaling down, bend those knees there. Bring your hands down to the ground. Let the spine just melt forward and drape over your legs. Inhale, coming up halfway. I like to keep a little bend in my knees for this one. Press your hands into your knees. Reach your chest forward, so broaden through the collarbones here. Exhale, folding down again, keeping the bend in your knees if you like. Inhale, reach the arms up high. So here we are, one of our movements with the shoulders. And then exhale, hands down the midline in prayer position. Press the palms together. Press, press, press. Inhale, reach the arms up high again. And then exhale, we're just going to step that left foot back. And then it's going to be at a 45-degree angle, and the right foot is facing forward. Okay? So again, this is the upper arm or the upper body flowing. I'm not too concerned about the positions of our legs here. We're going to keep both legs straight for this one. So as usual, I'm going to talk you through the flow, stop at some of the poses, give you some alignment cues. When we get it established, I will talk you through it with the breath. So we're in this position here now. With this is our exhale. We're going to inhale into reverse. So we're going to pivot that right hand to face up towards the ceiling and hinge over to the left side. I'm a little bit too narrow there. Reach the right arm up and over. So feel that stretch through the shoulder there. Inhale, we're going to take it into a version of Trikonasana, except we're going to keep that front knee bent. Have a little micro bend in that front knee, because as the weight comes forward, we're inclined to hyperextend through that joint. So micro bend in that right knee, reach the left arm up and over. Inhale to come up and into our reverse again. And then exhale, we're going to take it into Goddess pose. So feet are at a 45-degree angle here. We're letting the hips come heavy and down towards the ground, and the hip bones, those bones at the front of your hips there, are lifting up and back. Now that's the action, but that's the difficult part of it. So that's just what you're looking for, is those bones lifting up and back, because they want to be pulled forward by any sort of tightness in the groin there. Okay, bring the hands either side of your knees or just to the inside of your knees. We're going to do that same movement that we did with our Cobra in our goddess pose. So we're tilting to the side and dropping one shoulder at a time. So inhale, press the hands into your knees, lengthen through the spine here, open the chest. Exhale, we'll start with the right side. So we're going to bend that left arm and reach the right arm down towards the left foot, or the right shoulder down towards the left foot. Inhale to come back to neutral. So press in neutral. I'm going to continue, you're going to continue breathing here because I'm going to give you more alignment cues before we flow. So when you're finding neutral, press your hands into your knees and really soften the shoulders, lengthen through the spine. We'll take it to the left side now. We're going to, on the next exhale, bend the right elbow and reach the left shoulder down towards the right foot. Inhale to find neutral. Let's flow with the breath now. Exhale, left elbow bends, right shoulder drops. Inhale, lengthen for neutral. Exhale, right elbow bends, left elbow drops. Or shoulder. Inhale to lengthen, one more round. Exhale, right shoulder reaches. Inhale to lengthen. Exhale, left shoulder reaches. Okay, so continue to pivot your feet around to the front of your mat and frame your hands either side of your front foot and bring that left knee down now. So we've just come from goddess pose to low lunge with the hands either side of the front foot, which is your right foot there. Okay, and inhale, reach the arms up high. So let's bring the arms down again, just to give you a couple of more little cues. Remembering to keep the feet nice and wide here. So as you position yourself in your low lunge there, just make sure that that right foot, you might need to step it further out, because the wider you are on your mat here, the more balance you have. Even though we're not standing, we're still going to be kind of, in this pose where we're going to be pressing into our knee and our front foot. So we want things not to be on a tightrope. So this is what I'm not looking for, with the knee in line with the foot there. So wide on your mat there. Hip bones lifting. So remembering squeezing the back of that hip there will open the front of that hip, that left hip there. Inhale, reach the arms up high. And then exhale, we're going to come into our extension. Reach the fingertips away. Let's clasp the hands here once times just to get the stretch through the front, and then unclasp them to notice the difference between the two. And then just the neck, it's a tricky one because we're kind of coming into a bit of back bend. So what I would say is a little bit of a chin tuck there can just support the delicate little muscles at the back of the neck there. And then inhale, reach the arms up high. Exhale into our abduction, so arms out to the side. Inhale here and exhale. We're going to come into this pose. You keep your legs where you are. I'm just demoing. So we'll bring the right arm on top. So we're just going to cross the elbows and just bring the palms, the back of the palms together. Okay. And then inhale, reach the arms up high. Exhale, hands either side the front foot and step it back to downward dog. Okay, we're going to do all that on the left side now. So I'm going to bring my notebook with me to make sure I don't get lost. It's quite a long sequence. And we're going to start from downward dog again. So press the hips up and back. And on your inhale, just remembering coming up onto your fingertips, I find helps. You're just stepping forward. It doesn't matter which leg comes first. We're just coming to a forward fold. Exhale, folding down. So this one we might flow a little bit more with the breath. And don't worry if you get lost. Just have a look back up at me and see where I am. I'll be going through it nice and slowly though. Inhale, coming up halfway. Hands to the knees. Reach your chest forward. And then exhale, folding down. Inhale, press into the feet, reach the arms up high. Exhale, hands down the midline in prayer position. Inhale, reach the arms up high. And then exhale, we're going to step the right leg back now. So that right foot is at that 45-degree angle and the left foot is facing towards the front of the mat. We're going to keep our legs straight. Just have a sense though of those hip bones being in line with each other. So we're not tilting forward until the next pose. So arms reaching out. Inhaling into our reverse. Press into the feet now. Exhaling into our version of Trikonasana with the knees straight, Micro bend in that front knee. Reach those left finger or right fingertips up and over. So remembering this is about the shoulders, not necessarily the rest of the body is just kind of coming along for the ride. And then inhale into reverse again. Exhale, pivot the feet around to the side of your mat, 45-degree angles for the feet. Let the hips drop down, hands in prayer position. Maybe even a little bit of movement in our goddess pose, finding a little bit of comfort, if at all possible, in this pose. Hip bones lifting up. Hands either sides of the insides of the knees there. Let's inhale to lengthen. And exhale, starting with the right shoulder, dropping down towards the left foot there. Inhale to lengthen. Exhale, dropping the left shoulder towards the right foot. And that right elbow bends to give you space. Inhale, lengthen. So remembering to take your little moment to lengthen. Exhale, right shoulder. Inhale to lengthen. Exhale, left shoulder drops. Inhale to lengthen. And exhale, pivoting the feet around. So just pivoting everything around to the front of your mat now and bringing that right knee down. Hands either side of the left foot. So we're finding our way into low lunge with the left foot forward. Check your feet now. Make sure you're nice and wide on your mat, left to right on your mat, not front to back. And then inhale to come up into our low lunge. Here we are in our flexion. Exhale in extension. Reach the fingertips away. Have that little tuck at the chin there to support the neck. Inhale to reach the arms again. And then exhale. I don't know what way we're going into this one. So abduction. Arms out to the side. Inhale to reach. And then exhale. This time we're going to bring the left elbow on top of the right elbow. So you stay facing forward. I'm just demoing. Press the back of the hands towards each other. Inhale one more time to reach. And exhale, hands either side the front foot. Stepping it back to downward dog. Okay, I think we will have time to just flow through that, either flow through that on right side and left side one more time. And I might just even make it simpler than the full version of it. Okay, so inhale here. Exhale, stepping forward to the front of your mat, holding down. Inhale, we're going to come all the way up now. We'll drop our half forward folds, and then exhale, hands down the midline of prayer position. Inhale, reach the arms up high. Exhale, stepping that left foot back, both knees straight, finding our way into the side of our mat. Keep those hip bones in line with each other. Inhale to reverse, legs straight. Exhale into our straight-legged version of Trikonasana. Inhale, reverse. And then exhale, pivot those feet around. Hands in prayer position, find your way into Goddess. Hands either side inside of your knees there. Inhale to lengthen. Exhale, starting with the left shoulder, drop that shoulder down towards the right foot. Inhale to lengthen. Exhale, right shoulder. Inhale to lengthen. Exhale, left shoulder. Inhale to lengthen. Exhale, right shoulder. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, pivot the feet around to the front of your mat. Hands either side of your front foot. Bring that left knee down now. We'll keep going. Inhale, reach the arms up high. So you're in your low lunge now. Exhale, extension. Reach the arms away from you. Lift them up and back. Inhale into abduction. So arms reaching out either side. Exhale into adduction. So left elbow on top of right elbow, palms pressing against each other. Inhale to reach. And exhale back into downward dog. Taking an inhale here, one more round to go. Exhale, step your feet forward any way you want to the top of your mat, folding down over your legs there. Inhale, press into your feet, reach the arms up high. Exhale, hands down the midline in prayer position. Inhale, reaching. And exhale, this time you're going to step your right leg back. Leg straight, hip bones level. Inhale to reverse. Reach those left fingertips up and over. Feel the shoulders working here. And exhale into our Trikonasana. Reach the right arm overhead here. Inhale to reverse one more time. And exhale into our goddess. Feet pivot around to 45. Press the palms together. Press the hands to the inside of the knees here and use them as your prop to lengthen through the spine for your inhale and exhale, starting with the right shoulder towards your left foot. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, left shoulder, right foot. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, right shoulder, left foot. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, left shoulder, right foot. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, pivoting around to the front of your mat. Hands frame your left foot now. Right knee comes down. Let's continue with our last section. Inhale, reach the arms up high. Exhale, reach the fingers towards the back of the mat there now. Inhale, arms either side. And then exhale, left elbow on top of right elbow now. Press the palms against each other. Inhale to reach. Exhale, hands either side of the front foot and stepping it back to downward dog. Bring the knees down now. And let's just take a few rounds of cat-cow. We are coming now to the restorative part of our practice. And the building work next door better continue to be nice and quiet for this part. So let's just do a few rounds of cat-cow. Again, just really concentrating on the shoulders here. So really broadening through the collarbones there. Send the back of the shoulders, tip of the shoulders towards the back of the hips there. And then exhale, letting those shoulder blades spread. Feel the shoulders really pressing up towards the ceiling. One more round. Inhale, really just letting everything settle now. And then exhaling. Let's come into a seated position. Let's do just little circles for our wrists now. A little bit more work on our neck. So let's just circle our neck as well. Going one direction and the other direction. And let's get ready. So have all your props beside you there, coming on all the way onto your back now, getting ready for the restorative part of our practice. So let's start with the arms reaching overhead and the toes reaching away from you. Have your feet mat distance apart, have your arms mat distance apart. So star shape, everything stretching. Reach through the left toes and the right fingertips, diagonally stretching through the whole body. And then let go of that, let it retract like a starship and reach through the left fingertips and the right toes. Feel that stretch, and can you find the point in the body where the stretch changes direction? So the toes are reaching away, the fingertips are reaching upwards. Where in the body does it change direction? And then let everything just gently draw back towards the belly button there. Bring the arms down, bend the knees, and just rolling over to your right hand side. Take a breath here now, just starting to come around to the idea of restoring and having some gratitude for your body and your shoulders and all they've done today. Press into your left hand to help lift you up, and we'll start getting ready for our first pose. So nice and simple. What you need for your first pose is one blanket. So you're going to start with your blanket in a 4-fold, and then you're going to fold it over again. So I'll show you what it ends up looking like. So I had it folded in 4, and I folded it again lengthwise. So I ended up with a long, narrow folded blanket. Then what we're going to do is we're going to roll it about 1-2 times and pop that at the top of your mat there. So we don't want this fold here, this roll here, to be too high. We're going to have that at the tip of our shoulder blades, and we're going to come into a nice back bend. So what this one is nice, it's a chest opening, a gentle back bend. But why we've made the blanket narrow is it gives space for the shoulders to drop down in space. So it's a particularly nice one for the shoulders, which I thought would be really good after the practice we just had. So coming with your head towards the back of the mat there now, Maybe just holding on to your roll to make sure it doesn't unroll, and gently bring yourself down so that the tip of your shoulder blades hits the roll of your blanket there. And again, I think I've given you this tip before. The way I know that I'm on the right position, for women it's the bra line, but a guide for everyone is that it's 2 fingers space between your armpit and the roll there usually gives you a guide that your roll is on the shoulder blades there. Now the legs are straight for this one. If that doesn't suit your back, maybe pop a bolster underneath the knees there, but it's kind of nice to have a little bit of length through the hip flexors there to get the upper body into the shape that we want it to be in. So options here for the shoulders. Your shoulders will hopefully be nice and warmed up, so it might feel nice to come into cactus position for this one. If that feels a little bit too much for you, you can come into T-shape if you have space for the arms. And if you don't have space or that isn't feeling good either, you can bring the arms either side of the body, but I would certainly try and have as much room as you can, because you might notice the closer the arms come towards the body, the less intensity there is in that lovely stretch across the chest there. So even just noticing yourself, how it feels in cactus position, T-shape, and arms either side of the body. So I'm going to take cactus position for this one, but you take whatever version suits your shoulders. So these lovely chest opening mini back bends are great for finding the breath. So they're lovely to practice at the start of your restorative practice, because they help you to really drop into your practice by using the breath and observing the magnification of the movement of the breath in the upper chest there. Even though the breath, we feel it through the chest and the belly, in this pose, we're really looking for the breath in the rib cage, or observing it. So on your inhale, really feel the capacity for your ribs to expand there. Maybe even play around with slightly and very gently, we don't want anything dramatic, expanding your breath. And in restorative, if we are expanding our breath, we do it equal inhale, equal exhale, or even inhale and then a longer exhale. The exhale is where we are finding our grounding, and it's really tapping into that all important vagus nerve, which is the rest and restore response nerve. So see now, can you really trace through your body from the tip of your crown all the way to the very bottom of your big toe there, and see, can you find any little bits of muscles that are still working? They're still kind of holding the memory of the activity that we just did for the last half an hour. So are they still kind of working through the poses, and can you just gently guide them to the next stage of their practice, which is to restore and assimilate the work they've done. And along with our breath, we also use the method of finding relaxation by just tracing through the muscles of the face. So see, can you start with your forehead there, and see, can you just relax any of those little micro muscles across the skin of your forehead? Have a sense of the skin across your forehead draping across the skull, the bones of your skull like silk. And can you even sense that this draping fabric is even falling down the sides of your head to your temples, and along the top and the back of your head to the top of the skull towards the back of the skull? Now, if you have your arms in cactus position, check in with them now and see, would it be nice to maybe lengthen them out in T shape, just to further drop into your practice and just see, can you bring a little bit of softness to the shoulders there? They've done a lot. So maybe taking them out of cactus position now, coming into T shape for the last few minutes of this pose. Check in now with the back of your hips there and just maybe see, are you equally pressing into both sides of your sacrum? Are you equally pressing into both sides of your legs? So the back of your left calf, back of your right calf. And is there equal weight on the back of the left heel and the right heel? Are the feet really gently, without any effort, just dropping out to the sides? So in our restorative poses, there is an area that is being worked on, I suppose you could say, but the other parts of the body are also part of the pose too. So whilst we're working with the shoulders dropping down either side of the blanket roll, we're feeling a lovely stretch across the chest. We're observing the breath in the ribs. We're also relaxing the parts of the body that are not necessarily the highlight of the pose. They're not the main act. Even in my own practice, I'm amazed at how sometimes you think you are completely relaxed, and then I notice one glute, one buttocks muscle might be just inexplicably tensed or clenching. And again, it might be holding the memory of an old injury, it might be holding a pose that I've done previously, but it takes a lot of reminding for the muscles to get them to relax. And settling now into a little bit of silence for the last few moments of this pose. And back to your breath again and again. Just getting ready now to come out of this pose. So bending the knees up, always a good way to get out of a lying down pose, bending the knees up and just even lifting the hips, popping them over to the left side of your mat and rolling over to your right side. We'll come right up because that roll might be a little uncomfortable on the side of the waist there, or the back of the shoulders, and coming up to a seated position. Okay, so our next pose is possibly one of my favorites, and it's one of the simplest restorative poses that I come back to again and again, particularly if I'm just using a single pose in a day where I'm feeling a little overwhelmed or just tired or just that I want to look after myself. So, reclined resting pose. You're going to place your 2 bricks at the back of your mat there. One of them's at the low height and the other one's at the medium height. So just a reminder, low, medium, high. Okay, so this one's at medium. Have a little bit of space between them. You don't want them too close together. And then pop your bolster against those two. Make sure you're happy that it's nice and stable. It's not that high, so it'll probably be fine. We're going to make a blanket roll with 2 blankets just to support our knees for this one. Sometimes if you have another bolster, you can just pop that underneath the knees, but we're just working with 1 bolster today. I certainly only have 1. So you're going to open that blanket out again. Remember, we had folded it lengthways, so we're going to open it back out and into a 4-fold again. And I'm going to pop another blanket on top of that. So I'll hold it up now for you to see. So again, it really depends on the size of your blankets. So that's why I hold them up just to show you an estimated size of what the blanket looks like. And thicknesses of blankets can be different as well. So you work with what suits you. So I have 2 4-fold blankets there, and I'm literally just going to fold them up. Or sorry, not fold them up, roll them up. so that I end up with a decent sized rolled blanket there. I'm going to pop that towards the end of my mat, just where my knees are going to sit, so directly underneath the knee joint there. If you have another blanket, it's nice to pop a blanket towards the back of your bolster there, and just a little bit of a lift for the back of your head there. Okay, so you want to have the hips, just a little bit of a space between the back of your hips and that bolster, just so that you have room to sit back. Now, have another blanket close by to you there, because sometimes it depends on the kind of thickness of your bolster. Some people find that can be too much of a curve on the lower spine there. If you have any discomfort in the lower back there, the lumbar spine, get your spare blanket, pop it under your hips, just to lift your hips up a little bit, so that there's not as dramatic as a drop back on the hips there. So you'll know that pretty soon as when you come into the pose. So just, I didn't even explain there, I'm so dying to get into it. Hands either side of the start of the bolster there, and just draping yourself over the bolster, vertebrae by vertebrae. Making sure that your blanket at the back there just sits underneath the back of the cranium there. So really feeling this lovely drop through the shoulders there, the stretch at the front of the chest, and the lovely, just, you know, the shoulders, the arms draping out the shoulder joints with gravity, and letting all the muscles of the shoulders relax here. Palms can be facing up or down. It's quite warm in Night Studio at the moment, so I'm going to have my palms facing up. And just checking in, making sure that your rolled blanket is directly under your knees, that your legs are feeling nice and supported. A little bit of space between the legs is good. So continuing to observe the breath here. And maybe for this one, we definitely feel it in the ribs here, but we probably certainly feel it more in the belly as well. So it's a more kind of symmetrical breath, let's say. And can you come back to the head again now and just find softness in those little muscles? Can the eyes drop deep into their sockets there? Suspending in that space between the temples. Can you let the jaw just hang? Space between the teeth. Tongue lightly pressing across the palate at the top of your jaw, top of your mouth. And can the eyes be closed without effort? So just letting them really gently close over. And without, engaging the muscles in any way, can you have a sense of a smile? So it's almost like an inner smile. Finding your softest breath here. And settling now into the silence. And settling into your ability or your wisdom to find ease in your pose, and remembering your tools of coming to the breath, coming to the skin across the forehead, and just finding little ways to maybe push those additional thoughts out of the mind or just let them float by and really concentrate your attention on finding ease in your pose for these last few moments of your practice. Just gently now getting ready to move out of this pose and just coming around to the idea that you will be moving rather than moving quite yet. And then when you're ready, just press your hands strongly into the mat either side of your bolster, just to gently lift yourself up and moving nice and slowly now. So we're going to come into Shavasana just for a few minutes. So all you need to do now, you can leave that rolled blanket underneath your knees, is just push your bolster off to the side of your mat there, push your bricks away. And then you might even want to make a neck roll with that blanket you had at the top underneath your head. So a nice little neck roll, nice and low, and coming down into your Shavasana. So that just a reminder now, the neck roll, it's just literally filling the space between the back of your neck, your cervical spine, and the mat. So we're not trying to lift it at all, we're just filling the space. A little bit of space between the arms and your body, palms facing up. And just feeling the difference between lying on the reclined bolster to coming all the way down to the support of your mat, ground, and the earth beneath you. It's always good, no matter what kind of a practice you're doing, even restorative, to come down into Shavasana with or without one or two little props, just to find symmetry between left and right side and have everything in their natural curves. Ready now to gently come back into your day. Bring a little bit of movement into your fingertips and your toes. Bending the knees up, gently rolling over to your right hand side. Using that left arm to support you. Gently coming up, head comes up last. Come to a comfortable seated position with or without props, whatever suits you. Hands in prayer position at your heart. And thumbs to your third eye, to your lips, to your heart center. Namaste. And thank you for practicing with me.